Hi, good evening, everybody. I feel like I start every Tuesday with the same thing. Do something different.
Tuesday evening to everyone that's here with us.
As you can see, our backgrounds are very bling bling because tonight's topic is on worth.
Self-worth. Like shine bright like a diamond. Oops, sorry. Let's go back to a talk show instead of a sing-along. So welcome to Down the Rabbit Hole with Lin and Jada. So this is the talk show that we have every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Live. And we unpack different topics for coaches to examine together.
Yes, so we believe that inner work is really important for coaches because who you are as a coach really gives you the depth to your coaching. And as you coach more people, you would realize that actually it really is about life, you know, your understanding of life, how much you've lived your life, how much you've worked on yourself, how much you understand yourself, your awareness of who you are and how you apply yourself to the world. That is what makes the difference. It goes beyond solutioning or just pure mechanics, right, Jada? Definitely at a PCC level and at an MCC level, that is what's going to add that dimension to your coaching. So we want to help coaches out there go deeper, and that requires you to do inner work. Yep. So what is our topic today?
Well, we're going to be talking about self-worth. By the way, this is episode 7 that we've done so far. Can you imagine it? I'm like, how have we come so far? So in the last two topics, we started to talk about success, right? And we started to examine what is our relationship to money, because as coaches, not only are you working on yourself, you are also working on your business. Task topics like success, money, self-worth are all very important and all tied to the success of your coaching practice. So today we are unpacking self-worth. So the question is, what is self-worth? What is self-worth? No one. But before we go there, shall we take a look and see who's there online with us? If you could just drop into chat, say hi.
Drop into chat.
Sorry guys, my English is a little bit wonky today.
I think you need to get a glass of wine. Who do we have on tonight? Say hi. So I'm gonna say hi to myself first. Say hi. Please just say hi.
Good to see you.
So that we can.
Can I, by the way, those who's watching, if you've been here with us in the other episode, say hi. If you are new to this, say hi as well, so we know, you know, if there's any new viewers here, at least we know who we are speaking to. That'd be great.
Yes.
That would definitely increase my sense of worth. This conversation.
All right, give us also a thumbs up if you can hear us loud and clear. Jada gets mumbly when she doesn't drink enough. So actually it's the opposite, right? We have Sumandra, we have Mate. Hello, gentlemen. We have John. Okay.
So last week was a really interesting topic. If those who's watching, if you were there with us, we had Samuel, a millionaire who's with us, and we unpacked the topic about relationship to money, and we managed to uncover lots of wisdom and nuggets about how his relationship to money shifted, and as a result of that, right, that helped him to grow his business and grow himself so much more. And I think besides money as an important topic with regards to business, self-worth is another important one that we need to unpack today.
Yes, I'm actually quite excited about this. We have PL Ho. Hello. We have Namita.
Hey.
Hi.
Oh,
so good to have you guys.
See you again.
Okay, so Jada, I wanted to share with you a memory that I have when I was very young. Okay, which I unpacked, and it's related to self-worth. And I'll share about why actually self-worth is an important topic to unpack, especially when we are running our own business. So when I was in primary school, every Saturday or every weekend, I would go to Parkway Parade because I have ballet classes, and I would be with my mom. And then we would walk around the shopping center, right, Tan, and there will always be very beautiful little girl party dresses, right, with the blings and frills and everything. And I remember every weekend I would point out to a dress that I like, and I would tell my mom, "Oh, this dress is so nice," and she would always say, "But you have something like that already, you know, or you don't need it." So basically, weekend after weekend after weekend after weekend, I never got the dress that I wanted.
Okay.
Right? I always felt like, then it began to feel, I think I made some kind of conclusion that I'm not worth the dress. I'm not worth even, buying a dress for. And so when I was unpacking this memory, when I was doing my own inner work, in terms of money, my relationship to money and all, I realized that I didn't have I think that impacted my sense of self-worth. And I therefore believed that I couldn't get what I want. I wasn't worth what I want.
Wow.
And over the years, I had to work on that. When I started my coaching journey, I had to work on that. And I realized one thing, right? So I'm just going to jump straight in and talk about the topic. I've realized that the best antidote to, is that the right word? To a low self-worth, or the best cure for low self-worth, is actually courage. Courage.
How do you
Because
arrive at that?
yeah, because self-worth is self-referential, right? Nobody can tell you what you're worth. So we kind of make sense of it ourselves. And then it might just so happen that whatever you tell yourself is what your self-worth is. So if you are, unfortunately, like me, you have a negative a narrative to begin with, then the self-worth starts out kind of low. There are some people I know of who just, self-worth was a non-issue their whole life.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about it. Yeah. And so their narrative was positive to begin with.
So what you're saying over here essentially then is self-worth is tied to your sense of self, how you view yourself, an internal state where you is a direct measure of your value and how you regard yourself in spite of what other people say or do to you. So if you have a positive narrative internally about how you view yourself, then of course that shows up in the way you relate to people, right? And if you have a negative relationship to negative way of viewing yourself, that also shows up in how you manage things around you or how you show up in your life, in your work.
Yes. So the cure is courage, because the only way to bust that illusion, right, that determines your self-worth narrative, is reality. So I think over the years, I have had to, there's no other better way to prove myself wrong than to just, go after that guy, right? That cute guy. Go after that project. Ask for the promotion, ask for the money. There's really no other way to get out of your own head than to just apply yourself into reality, to test yourself. And then based on the feedback, you adjust the narrative.
Thanks for sharing that about courage. I mean, I definitely agree with you, because a lot of things that I see for myself is because I keep jumping in to do things that I'm afraid of, to take on new things. And as a result of that, my confidence in myself grew. And then my sense of self-worth also grow, right? But parallel to that, I think what shows up for me is not just courage, but also a level of like acceptance, which I think that's something that goes hand in hand, right? Because as I learn to accept myself for who I am, I've also come to embrace that, hey, I don't have to keep comparing myself to others. I don't have to keep feeling that I'm not good enough. So over time, that self-acceptance also led to overcoming the narrative of self-worth for me.
So it's interesting how our perception of ourselves is so much tied to what we ask for in our reality. Now we're talking about business, but actually our self-worth also determines the kind of people we hang out with, the kind of opportunities that we attract or that we go into.
The things that you put energy onto, the things that you focus on.
I think even down to the effort in which we do something. You imagine if somebody doesn't believe they're worth it, they would probably just do something sort of half-assed because they believe they're not going to do well at it anyway. They don't even deserve it. That's a scary thing. People with if we're telling ourselves a negative self-worth narrative, we sabotage ourselves. We feel that we don't deserve something.
Or we play small. We don't even dare to like go out and do something big because, internally we feel like, hey, I'm not good. I'm not worth, to deserve that. I don't deserve that.
So we know that with a lot of coaches, correct? Like, because I don't feel I'm not radiating with confidence about my coaching. Therefore, I don't have that much self-worth as a coach, and therefore I undercharge. I shouldn't charge so much. That's a very common scenario.
Well, that's the very famous imposter syndrome, right? Where sometimes coaches, even though they have trained for years and they're so good at what they do, I mean, I'm saying myself secretly, okay? That I don't usually, years ago, I don't dare to claim myself as a coach, even though I know that I'm really good as a coach, right, with all my skill sets. But I don't go out there and tell people, hey, you know what? I'm a coach. I'm really good at what I do. It's very difficult for me to say that because I feel like, are you sure, Jada? Are you sure you're really, worth it or worth it for people to pay you money? So I struggled with that at the start of my coaching career.
So I want to, later when our special guest comes on, hopefully this comes up. But I want to unpack this relationship between self and worth. Right? It comes in a word, self-worth. But actually, I think the problem comes when our self is too tied to the worth. So I posted this quote about how don't let what somebody offers you determine your self-worth. But at the same time, don't let your self-worth determine what you offer others. Because, when it's too intertwined, there is no clarity, there's no objectivity. Because frankly, if you're running a business charges. Like, there's no personality, there is no feely, there's nothing. It's objective. You have a service, it costs, there's a cost price or there's time involved. Therefore, this is what it should cost, right? But we get ourselves too involved. And so maybe it's, maybe in this session, it's kind of pulling that apart and recognizing self as self, and self is a journey. We will never feel like we're worth diamonds, right? I mean, we will never feel like we're perfect. It's always a journey. So it's a trap to even tie our self into the worth. Does that make sense?
That's interesting to go deeper and see how that extraction will work. And to do that, we've got a very special guest with us tonight here. Before we welcome him into the room, what we've talked about so far on self-worth, how do you view self-worth? Share with us onto the chat if you can, okay? What is self-worth to you? What's your relationship to self-worth in the first place? Let us know what you think. And then, Lin, shall we welcome and introduce our special guest for this evening?
Yes. So Jada, you said it's a him. But wait a minute, we're supposed to have Olga, which is a her. So what is going on? Okay, so for guys, we mentioned Olga is going to be our special guest today. Unfortunately, dear Olga is in the hospital, and so she can't join us. But we have somebody who is, to me, I would have asked on the show anyway, because he has a stunning background. We love him. We work so much with him. And I always believe that the universe works things out that's right for us, for everybody. So, okay, so tonight we have with us as a special guest, John Nielsen. Some of you are familiar with him. So before we bring John on, the reason why we thought of him is because John, he's a coach now. He runs his own coaching practice. And from what I know, he is constantly pushing that limit of charging. He believes so much in quality services and charging a premium for it. And I don't know whether he's afraid when he asks for it, but I know for sure, I've seen him do it. He's very confident. He goes in very clear about his value to the client. He also comes from a very high position from where he was, his past organization, where he was leading over 2,000 people. So, when we were looking at a guest speaker for self-worth, we wanted to bring on somebody who had a very obvious capacity to take on big things, because how big you play is tied directly to how much confidence you have and how much perceived self-worth you have. So without further ado, let's bring on John. Hello, John.
Hey, John. Welcome to Down the Rabbit Hole.
Oh, can you share a little bit about your virtual background? Why did you pick that?
Yes, I can. So thank you for the introduction. So first of all, I really appreciate having this opportunity. And yes, I feel like a very lucky person because I have, in fact, quite early in my life, started to believe in myself. I basically, when I was very young, I grew up in a very classic way. My parents had a business and they were super busy and had no time for me. And they were not very good at basically encouraging me, allowing me to do the things I really want, and I felt not listened to. So it was quite awkward. And in fact, because they were so busy with their business, they outsourced me and my younger brother, who is 3 years younger, to my grandparents, and kind of had a very, I would say, different growing up and maturing. But it helped me big times to believe in myself and what I can do, and to show to the world and my parents that I'm worth a lot. And if you ask me that question, I would say I'm worth a lot.
That's why you're here on our show, you know.
Yes.
So John, let's kickstart and jump straight in, and let me ask yourself, I mean, because we were talking about self-worth, right? And me and Lin earlier, we were talking about our relationship and the narrative that we play
Yes.
internally with regards to how we view ourselves. So while I know you said that you're worth a lot, and definitely agree with you on that, right? Definitely, all right. But the very first question that I'd like you to answer for all of us here is, could you share with us, like, what's your narrative to self-worth? How do you see yourself?
Yeah, I would say so first of all, I want to mention at the beginning, it's a very fine balance not being arrogant. Okay, so this is something I'm very sensitive to, because I don't want to come across that I'm better than anybody, because I'm not comparing. First of all, I'm only comparing to myself and my own kind of standards, and I think that that's a very important thing when we talk about self-worth, that we are in the best possible, I call it, relationship with ourselves. Okay, and I step by step learned to love myself more through all the crazy thing I did. And if you talk to me and hear me talk about my career and my life, there's something in my life where I have pushed the boundary a lot to increase my worth. Okay, so it's not like a bank account. I cannot check in and say today I'm worth XYZ. It's not that, but the feeling I have, and being very proud. And even if people don't like me, don't misunderstand me, I don't care, because I love myself and I'm very proud of who I am and how I came here. And I will never make people feel bad about that. They can feel bad about it, but I'm very proud of who I am, how I think, and how I was shaped. And my story was basically shaped from particularly when I left Denmark to go to Germany. I didn't speak German. I didn't have any clue what's going to happen. It was a huge career opportunity, which came kind of overnight. And I was set up to take over the company of my father, which I didn't want to do. So I left everything behind, including my family. You say, well, that's crazy, but that's where my story started. Okay. And I had to prove myself that I'm worth a lot. I didn't think about it, self-worth at that time. It was not in my verbatim at that time, but it happened in a different way, because I wanted to show myself I can do without anybody supporting me. And I know I have a lot of qualities, and most important, I'm willing to fail. And that has been kind of following me throughout my career.
So that story is the first attempt of like you like putting yourself out there, would you say? I mean, like putting yourself and
Yes, it's a putting myself out there, number one. And a lot of people say, when you listen to people, you can't do. And in fact, it motivates me a lot when people say you can't do. Then I really want to prove that you can do. Yeah. And the first example, okay, there's many in my life, but there was one. I got a professional skier living in Denmark, which is as flat as Singapore. There's no mountain. There's not really any super tough winter, so you can't really learn skiing. But I had this picture in mind that I wanted to do it. Okay. And I found a way in all my school vacations to prove to myself that I can do something that people say that's not possible for a boy who is, at that time I was 11 or 12 in Denmark. Okay, so I was traveling with trainer boss to Austria or to Norway, where the mountains were, to attend camps. And I later became, in fact, my first certification, I became a ski instructor with 16 for youth. Okay, so I can teach youth how to ski. Yeah, nobody would have ever thought about that as a Danish person. Yeah, but I had this kind of thing. I knew I can do it, and I want to do it. And if I can't do it, I will find out why I can't do it. Yeah, so I was very open to this, and that was my first experience. Then when I came to Germany, same language. I spoke maybe 10 words German, and today I speak fluent German. Nobody will not notice I'm not German. And here it comes. I never took a language class, never. So what did that teach me? Okay, and my self-worth, yeah, I was okay not to be perfect, because who cares? People, if they didn't understand me, I was switching to half Danish, half English, whatever, German. That was okay for me. And I didn't feel bad about it, because people knew I was new in this country at that time. But I was willing to listen and learn. And that was maybe the first part where I also became a coach, because when you listen, you learn, yeah? And that's really, really, really how people corrected me, gave me ideas how to rephrase it, and how I learned German. By failing, and after 5 years, I was fluent without any class. So how does that relate to my self-worth? Because I had this inner voice saying, John, you can do this, yeah? And I don't care what people think. I was not measuring myself. And that gave me a lot of stuff. So hence I say I'm worth a lot, because I think I can do even more than I have done so far.
Wow, that's refreshing.
Yes.
So remember just now we spoke about the self-referential world that we built around us. So in this case, John's is, you know, I'm testing myself. I'm on my own learning journey. I don't care what other people say. And he built.
I think it doesn't. There isn't even a conversation of what other people thinks or say in John's world. I mean, at least that's what I'm hearing. I'm willing to do this. I want to do this to prove it, to prove that I can do it, and then I'm willing to fail. And
I get motivated by external factors. Okay, so sometimes when I see something which is very difficult, so in my whole career in my corporate world, I for some reason tended to take the difficult jobs. There were certain jobs I was asked, but there was clearly half of the jobs I saw opportunity, it's big, it's difficult, and nobody has done it before. And there's something inside me which just triggers me and kind of say, John, if you want, you can. And I know there's a lot of smart people having quotes around this, yeah? But I really think it starts within your head, okay? And I'm not here to prove anybody that I'm better than them, because we are all equally good. We are all equipped with, I call it superpowers. It's just how we activate them. Seriously, and I think we are all worth a lot, and I have this famous quote where I often say, we all have a role to play here in the world. And when I say all, I really mean all. What is your role? We have different roles, yeah. And I have found my role, and as you see a background picture here, okay, you can look into the picture and you can feel very small, or you can see it the other way around, yeah. You may feel very small, but in fact you are very big and you have a lot of superpowers. Yeah, and that's really how I think about it. So I am really not arrogant, but I think I'm worth a lot.
Why didn't I think like you when 10 years ago, John? I would not be where I am today.
No, but actually, I'm quite curious, John, because you said that everyone has a role. Did you happen to stumble? Did you didn't know this intuitively right at the start, right? So what was the turning? Oh, I mean, when did you realize this role that you're there? That this is my role. This is what I'm here to do. This
is a great question, because of course I can't measure it, but I was 10% as smart as I am today. I think I didn't know a lot, because I'm one of the few people, by the way, another part of my story, which may have increased my feeling of self-worth and how I look at myself. I never went to university. I never took a larger degree. I went down the road, which was quite rare, but in Denmark it's a little bit more typical. where you go out after high school, you go straight into get ready to take a job. Yeah, and my job, which was set up by my family, was, or my father, I should say, was to take over his company. So went in and graduated as an electric engineer. Okay, so but I never studied psychology or something deeper. But what motivated me is, okay, I saw a lot of people, I knew a lot of people, they went many years, and I love people who went to university. Don't take this wrong. They are very smart. But I also met people who never went to university and had a lot of life experience, and you can call it wisdom, life, or whatever. And they were very smart too. So it does not mean because others are going to university, you have to do. So I did a very different way. And maybe because I wanted to prove myself, I can come very far. And I went in the company I worked for to partner level, the highest level you can dream about without kind of being on the top board, without any super deep conversation.
That's
so my
crazy,
point is,
John.
it's no, it's not crazy,
It
because it's
is.
up in your head. It's up in your head.
No, I mean, huge respect to you and what you've done with your life. What I'm hearing is it's about earning. So whether it's about university, whether it's about the ski certificate, whether it's about, you know, whatever that we take on, it's about, did we, I think whether we earned it is what kind of feeds that self-worth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's one thing that I'm hearing.
Yes. And I would add to that, because you just kind of inspire me, because I think it's also, I call it self-love. You really have to love yourself and self-acceptance to a certain extent. Accept who we are and where our limits are, because we will have situations in life where we know, okay, that is not my area. Like when I left the corporate world, I was very passionate about health, because I was really short before burnout, as I've been working so crazy much in my life there. Very happy, would do it again, but I was really tired. Battery was empty. So I said, okay, so what is the right thing with my partner in life is to start a health business, to be more aware of our body. Okay, I had no clue about it. Okay, I was very passionate about it the first 1.5 years when we found the company, but also at the same time, I found out there's limitations. Okay, where I just accepted I will never be a great leader of that business, because I'm just not passionate about the whatever facial and whatever we do there and nutrition. I like the details, but it stops at a certain level. So, and I think passion drives us a lot when we learn about ourselves, and we love ourselves for what we know and understand. So that's what I realized. And in fact, it got very critical when we started that company, because we were kind of discussing a lot, as we were also different views. Yeah. And I really had to accept I'm not the right guy here to run business decision on beauty and health and nutrition. So I stepped back to really do what I love to do, and what I know where I'm worth a lot, which is around people and operations, okay, in that part of the company. And that solved all problems in our relationship, I can tell you, because it was very critical, very openly here. And it's very hard to run a company together when you live together and have a life together. If you have not done that, trust me, it's not easy. And I'm always impressed when people say it's all so easy, but it's not. So I learned about my boundaries and accepted also that there are certain parts I'm just not good at, and that's okay. I can be passionate about it, but just stop here and then focus now on coaching, of course, obviously, as you know. Yeah. But so I spend 10-20% of my time in the health business to do what I'm good at. And I'm very proud of that piece, but not the whole piece. And that's okay. I said, don't bother me. I'm not going to be good here. And I'm very honest about it.
So, you know, guys, let us know what's on your mind as John, Jada, and I are talking about this topic. What are you, you know, what's stirring up? What kind of questions you have? What kind of thoughts you have? Let us know in chat. We want to hear from you. And we have a question from Natalie John. I was wondering, John, if you ever had moments of self-doubt in your journey, and if so, how did you manage that?
That's a good question. So I appreciate that. So yes, there are moments, okay, where I say, was this the right choice? Am I overestimating myself? And by the way, these are the moments where a good friend, and when I really meet a good friend, a really good friend, you can trust like a coach, okay? Because early in my life, when I had these moments, I was not sure. When I went from Denmark to Germany, I really gave up literally everything, friends, family. I just had a small pocket of money and it was not a lot, trust me, okay? So, and I really wanted, but there was moments where I said, man, why am I doing this? Yeah. So there's kind of, this is crazy. This is like kind of mission impossible going to the moon for me, because I was 23 at that age and did not have that much experience. But I had the luck to be surrounded by people I could trust and have a conversation. And then they didn't tell me what to do, which is very important, because I hate when people tell me what to do. I really get triggered by that. But they helped me to really find out, why did I start that journey? And they're not coaches, but they ask questions to help me just find the self-confidence. And there were moments I said, I don't want to do this anymore, yeah? And they brought me back, yeah? And this was planned in this way. And I knew if it's not working out, I can always go back, quote, quote, and take over my dad's company. I had that backup plan or do whatever I wanted to do, but I wanted to see the big world, yeah? Same, another example. At the company I worked for, I was involved in a huge citizenship project in Africa. So the poorest country in Africa, Malawi. And we went there with a team of employees. It was all security reports said from that company, don't go there. This is kind of suicide, yeah? But we planned for it, 5 guys, 5 girls, all passionate about making a difference in Africa and provide education to kids. We did it 2 years in a row. We slept in the bush. I have never done before. I was spoiled with 5-star hotels. On that journey to get there and being in the bush, but doing the right thing, okay? I had moments where I said, man, why are we doing this? This is crazy, yeah? You don't have to, but I wanted, to kind of test myself and show that if we want, we can. And I'm driven by this: skiing, language, moving country. I have had so many situations and it looks tough. It's possible, guys. It's really possible. And I'm not special. I am not special. It's just, if you want and don't give up and have people around you who can encourage you. And I know a few that I coach. It's the same. You just have to believe in it, and you're worth a lot, and never doubt yourself. Never doubt yourself.
Wow. You know what I'm very present to right now, I mean, with what you just shared, John, right, is that I mean, what you're telling us are big moments in your life where you probably had to, it's not that you had to make a choice or there was a deliberate choice put in front of you. You had an option to take on something or to not take on something, or to go a certain way or go the other way, right? And you chose you chose the path that you are passionate in, you believe in, and where you feel that, you know, there's that place where you can make that contribution. So it's very much driven by that. It's not even a question about self-worth, right? It's a question of your love, self-love. I think self-love is one, your self-belief.
Yeah, and I accept my limits. I accept who I am and what I stand for. Yeah, and I don't present myself as somebody I'm not. Yeah, I don't feel very good about that when I say things which is not really reflecting who I am or what I did. Yeah, so I'm very true to myself. I'm not suggesting that other people don't tell the truth, but I'm very honest to myself. Yeah, and there's no need to tell a story which is not true. Yeah, it is as it is, and it's John. I call it raw. Okay, and that's a person I love. I'm very proud of, and even at home, there are topics we are not in agreement on. I say that is my view. Okay, you don't have to accept, you don't have to love it, but that's what I believe in, and I'm not to please my partner, etc. Changing my view. I'm respectful, but that's how it is, and so, that's how I'm true to myself.
True to yourself. I'm, you know, it sounds like whether it's self-love or whether it's some kind of drive, you are very present to that, you know, something that you have inside that is unquestionable. And I think we all have that, whether it's called passion, whether it's purpose, whether it's, I don't know, you know, that one thing, that value that we all stand for, that nobody can take away from us. I think sounds like that's the place to start, because when we come from there and when that sources us, we don't even think about this thing called self-worth. Like we just go out there because we know we want to contribute, we want to make an impact, we want to help, or whatever it is, right?
Lin, that's the self that you were talking about earlier, right? That's self.
Yeah. And that journey is continuous, isn't it? Like you're always finding new things about yourself. You're always finding your limits, like what John is saying. You're always testing it.
And some people are more testing than others, and that is fine too. Yeah, some people are more adventurous, or others people it might come later in life. Yeah, I have seen a lot where it suddenly pops up, and now is the moment, the time. Can be because of kids or where you live. So again, this is not a race or comparison. It is a very different journey for each of us, and I think the most important thing for me is it doesn't change no matter what's happening in the world with COVID as we speak, yeah, and all the downsides. You can look at all of this, yeah, but it's not changing my self-worth, yeah, because I am who I am, and I know what I love about myself,
and nobody can take that away from you.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like a bank account where you can't lose the money, yeah, because it's just the self, again, without being arrogant, and that's very important, particularly I think in bad times that we have this
on low times, right? When we don't feel
I think that's why it's
happens.
particularly, yeah, because I came out, trust me, I came out of stay home notice, yeah, 14 days in a nice hotel, but I can tell you the last 4 or 5 days it were tough. No matter how nice a hotel is, and you are locked into a hotel before you can go back home again here in Singapore after traveling, it was a great experience and a lot of stories. But the point is, that's where my self-worth and helped me a lot, and also in terms of resilience and doing the right things throughout that experience. Yeah, because no matter how much Zoom I did with my partner and whoever, this didn't help. Yeah, I was locked. Okay, and taking away my freedom.
Oh, that's
not a good thing.
Yes.
That is my thing.
Brings out the dark side in John.
Yes.
So Natalie, I hope that answers your question. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but the way I'll sum it up is, number one, knowing what you have inside that nobody can take away from you. That's the most precious thing. And because that's precious, there is already worth in that. That's the first thing. But John also mentioned the other thing, which is companions, people, friends, people that you surround yourself with. And I love this saying, and I'm only beginning to understand this more and more, about how we are the sum of the people we hang out with. And so if you hang out with people and surround yourself with people who see your worth and they see your value and they see your beauty, they would naturally, you know, lift you up. I mean, that's who you are for me, Jada. And I mean, for so many years, and John, somebody new in my life, sounds so wrong, but you know, these are the people I treasure so much to hang out with, because I know that if anything happens, you guys can recognize that part of me that sometimes I can't see or I don't see. And I think that's the second thing that's important, because sometimes we just can't lift ourselves up. We must have people around us who lift us up.
Yeah. I love that summary. And I think we have a lot we can be very proud of. And seriously, I would make that statement. I think we are all worth a lot. And we should be very proud of that and not shy. And don't let us be impacted by others.
So can I kind of, an activity time. What was the last thing that you said, John? We have something that we are proud of? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, good. So can everybody just grab a pen and pencil, and guys, let's do that too. But you know, what are the top 5 things that you are proud of? And it's not what you have done or achieved, okay? It's not to say, oh, I'm proud of, whatever, coaching 10 people. It's not about something that you achieve, but it's what you have innately that you're proud of. So I'll give you an example. Maybe I'll start. okay, one of the things that I'm proud of is that I always, I tend to see the fun and the humor in things. Yeah, I can laugh at life. I can laugh at myself. I can laugh at people. So that's my number one. So guys, you guys chip in. What's your number one?
I'm laughing here because I know what I'm going to say and I feel like I'm so cheesy. So what's the question, Lin, again? What's the question again?
What are you proud of about yourself?
I feel I'm really proud of my ability to love. I feel it's so cheesy to say that, but I just feel that I just something that I'm really proud of. That whether is it a stranger or someone that I know, that I can open up my heart fully. I've never ever not opened up my heart, I think. I'm sorry that I'm getting emotional over this because the question itself really just hit me a little bit there for a moment.
So I have a question. Can you give that to yourself too, Jada?
Sorry, what? I'm trying to compose. I realized that I just realized that I'm on Facebook Live suddenly.
That love that you can give other people, do you give that to yourself?
Yeah, more and more. I think so. In the past, no. In the past, I struggled a lot. But now, that sense of self strengthens. I mean, yeah, so I bounce back even faster these days. Yeah, self-love.
Nice. John, what's yours?
I think that there's quite a few, but the most obvious one is the way I describe it always is the glass is always half full. I never see things negatively. You can put me into the worst situation ever. I always see that as an opportunity. I would never say this is not possible. You will not hear that from me.
So I'll give you.
I'm very proud of that. So because I think it's a mindset I have, and it has helped me a lot in difficult situations. Yeah, everything is possible.
So John, I can't help it. But let's say one day, so you went out drinking, you're drunk. Next morning, you wake up, you're butt naked on the street in Orchard Road during lunchtime. What is the half full in that scenario?
That I entertained 50 other people potentially. But despite of that, but no. So of course, yeah, there's a story behind that. But I hope it was enjoyable for other people. But that's an interesting one.
I've never ever heard John say that something's impossible. He's never ever, of all the times I've worked with him, nothing is ever impossible for him. I really have to agree with.
Yeah. He would come up with considerations and concerns, things to think about, but it's never no, can't be done.
Yeah, never.
What about you guys listening in? What's yours? Can you put your number one? And of course, it's not like a ranking thing, but just the first thing on your list. Put it down and share with us. What are you most proud of about yourself? I have a second one, and that is my ability to be childlike. I think my inner child is very strong. I think if you guys look at the way I play with my kids, I don't know who's more like a kid, me or Leah. But this is something that my senior coaches said to me years ago when I first started out. And I will always go, I'm freaking 20 years old. These coaches, these people are 40 years old. Who am I to tell them that they need to change their life? Why would they listen to me? What is it about me really? And they will always say, Lin, you have a certain innocence that these people lost. And they're looking for it. You have a certain innocence. It's this whole innocence, childlike thing. And even though I never sort of could accept what they were saying at that time, but the fact that they gave me something to hold on to, that kept me going. So that's to John's number two, the second point about people. And sometimes you just need to get strength from that. But now I understand it. It's the ability to just, like how we were so crazy in poly, Jada, like, I don't know, what's so silly things that we did running up and down the corridor, singing at the top of our lungs. I mean, just that, right? The ability to have fun and regress.
Yeah, I think a lot of people they've lost ability, right? Because we often take ourselves so seriously, right? We need to get things right, we need to get things done, that we don't, start to have fun.
Mm.
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 The
Alright,
fun piece is so important. And if we take life too serious, we have to respect certain things. Don't understand me, but fun. If you ask me on my top three, fun is and I love to do crazy stuff. Okay, in my life, in my personal life, in business, I love to do crazy stuff. It's how you push the boundaries and redefine the norms. Yeah, and if you go on vacation on places people haven't done before. I did a 10-day silent retreat with it. I've never done it before. People told me they were crazy, but it was in here and out there. And it was the best experience ever in Thailand. Yeah. So yeah.
that is
I'm
why
just saying.
you talk so much now, Jada. Because you were silent for 10 days and it just compounded.
I have to catch up.
Natalie says, read Natalie's.
So Natalie says, she's proud of her ability to continually learn and improve herself. I think that's so important, right?
Natalie, how long have you noticed that about you? Is that something that you were very clear about since you were young child in school, or is that something that you are just seeing and learning to appreciate right now? Let us know. And the rest of you, Janice, or Namita, PL, Mate, if you guys are still on, what's yours? What's your one thing that you are proud of about yourself? So maybe we can go into, so as the guys type, guys who still love it, to hear from you. John has an activity for all of us. Oh, second activity. Okay, go for it, John.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I have an activity. It's just I do believe that a lot of the things in life that we experience and who we are and what we are very proud of. For me, I see it as a treasure. Okay, you have a treasure and we have to treasure it. Okay, because we will need it in life. And I just always wonder. Okay, what are the things you treasure, Lin or Jada? I can start with you in your life. Yeah, because I have a lot of things which I think shape me, how I think, what I do, how I joke, who I am. But some of them I really treasure, and as something very, it's like going into the safe in the evening so nobody is taking it. I'm very proud of it and I treasure it and I care about it. That's the reason why I use the word treasure. But I was just wondering, is there something you treasure, which is something no matter what you would never give up? And if not, it's okay. It was just in
I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind when you ask that is my family. I mean, and that's simply because they're always there, right? I know that they are always there for me no matter what happens. So it's something definitely I will never give up. It's like the mountain behind. They are like the mountain behind me. That if anything happens, I fall back and they are there. So my family is my treasure chest.
I thought of another one, but I totally I can relate to that, Jada. To me, I think it's definitely something I'm realizing more in my later adult life, but my right to my own freedom, my own sovereignty. Wow, what's that word?
Sovereignty.
Yes, yes, that. Nobody can and nobody should take that away from me. That's in my treasure chest.
Yeah, Lin, we are very similar. This is my number one, and if people kind of, even my closest partner in life, if she is kind of digging into it, I'm reacting very I would say, not happy about it, because I think we all need our freedom, and I'm very open about what I need. And we have a lot of joint things. That's not the point, but I need a lot of freedom. And I think we all need space in our life, and how much, but don't try to take it away and tell me what to do. I want to fail on my own.
I'm going to read out some of what the chat is saying, which is beautiful. And then maybe we can link this into sort of the more practical application in business. Okay. So it's so cute. All right. Jenny says, I'm good at encouraging people. PL says, ability to pick myself up eventually. Haha. Whenever I fall. That's great. Well, PL, what I want to say to you is, at least you know that you're there for yourself. Even though you take a longer time to pick yourself up, you are there for yourself. I think that is so priceless. Mate, I think I can move on easily, use mistakes or failure as a learning. Yeah. You're just on this uphill climb. Nobody's going to put you down. Namita, proud that I look at situations from all perspectives. Oh, very wise. Eventually, lol.
What with all
Everybody's
the
like,
and
yeah, I know.
hey guys, if you are proud of that, you are proud of that. Come on, don't second guess yourself.
Well, that shows that it's a good question, right? Because maybe they never thought of it before, so it's like cranky. Very nice. Okay, so John, so how does this all, you've mentioned a couple of things. Maybe let's do a quick recap. The ones that I remember, Jada, I'll throw the ball over to you after this. But what I remember, number one, know what you have inside of you that is precious, that you stand for, that nobody can take away from you, because that is priceless. That's where your self-worth comes in, which is separate from the worth of your services and your products and stuff. The second one would be surrounding yourself with people who see that worth and continuously lift you up.
Yeah. And what I'm hearing also from John is the part where, go do whatever you're passionate about, what you believe in. And if you fail, that's fine, because there's no comparison to anybody, and just keep trying and keep going.
Okay, testing your limits, putting yourself out there. Because when you test the limits, you know what you're good at, you know what you like, what you don't like, what you're not good at, and then just accepting all those. Okay, so John, how do we translate all this then into the way that we run our coaching practice and our business? Because so many times, before you came on, Jada, I was talking about how, too much of self is intertwined with worth, business worth. So now that we've talked about the self part, let's talk about the business part.
Yeah, so great question. And my thoughts here are, so when I go into, I would say all of my deals are serious. There's no non-serious deals, yeah. But just to connect the self-worth and know what I can and where my limits are, give me a amazing, comfortable level when I go in and discuss pricing and again, push the bar. And I would never, ever charge somebody where I think this is not worth it. This is also against my principles, but I push the bar where I say this is fair for both sides. The value of the situation, the problem, whatever it is, I'm coaching the person on is clearly worth a lot. Okay, so I can charge a lot, and I don't have any problem. It's not arrogance, but I know my experience, knowing myself very well. I know I can show up well and not disappoint that person. So I push the bar to very high levels, and I don't have a problem here in this group. I have clients, it's close to 4 digits they pay per session, and they are totally okay with this. In fact, one of them just came back 2 weeks ago when I was in my staycation, so to say, stay home notice, and extended. And that is the best moment where you ask for a very high price, they come back and say, hey, please, I want to renew and add, okay? So my point is, it has given me a lot of confidence because I know I can deliver on it. I can be there fully present. and really listen to the client without telling or knowing. And we all know this, that we should not guide or anything, but that I have that ability, and this is maybe now confidence, and that I have that self-confidence, and I know myself how far I can go. So of course, before I sign these deals, I try to understand what is the situation. Yeah, if it's something very impossible, I would never go into something which is deep into a marriage or something. This is not my specialty. Yeah, I know my limits, so I would say no there. No matter if they would pay me double, I would not do it. Yeah, because then I don't do the person a favor, and even more important, myself a favor. Yeah, then I'm doing something I'm not comfortable with. So I'm not sure if I'm answering the question, but it helps me a lot to know myself, where my limits are, and it has tremendously increased my confidence when I go out and negotiate. And I'm sure you have all read this book, The Prosperous Coach, or heard about it. That helped me a lot in my coaching career, because how you position yourself, and don't feel ashamed, because the question you just have to think about or even share with the client is, if they say no to you, they don't know what they missed in terms of the experience and how you could have helped them. And that is okay. It's just the wrong moment. It's nothing about me. They just don't understand it or whatever in that moment. And I go away with a smile from that deal, because that's part of our business, to get a lot of no's. It was just not the right moment, or the client didn't know the value of it. And sorry, but that links really into my self-worth, and no measurement, no judgment. And I really walk away and I'm okay. I need business too, don't misunderstand me, but that's okay. It was just not a good match.
Yeah, okay. Wow. It's like you're recognizing the real value of who you are and what you bring to the table. And with that, there's also then that level of detachment. If it's not a good match, then it's just not the right moment. It's
think
not attached to your conversation and narrative of self, I think also.
Yes.
He's also clear about what he's putting in. The energy, the passion, the years of experience and expertise that went in. That's what I'm hearing, and it's from there then he decides, hey, actually that's worth a lot, and I will charge more than less. And I suppose, John, question to you, if let's say the client just wasn't prepared to pay that much, then it's just a matter of negotiation, right?
Yeah, so if I'm happy to share how I do this, I never discount my price. And now we can talk about the money. What I do sometimes to win a deal is I say, okay, I add 2 sessions at the end. So I add services or a workshop, a talk, or whatever I can do. Yeah, I never reduce my price, because what I have learned and experienced, once you start to go down just to get the deal, it's very hard to get up. Okay, so I'd rather try. Okay, there's also situations of going and only charge 150 because it's the right thing. It's not that I always charge close to 4 digits. But for the big board level, huge responsibility, huge change, seriously, there's millions at risk, then my fees are nothing compared to what I'm trying to help the client with. But clearly people who cannot afford it, again, this is also this fairness. There's a big piece of me which is about fairness. I just say the person can really not afford it, and then I'm okay with $100 or $50 or whatever. It doesn't really matter, because it's about doing the right thing. And I feel very good about that. It's like a 4-digit hourly price from a feeling point of view.
So back to what you were saying earlier around the client doesn't know what they don't know. Yes. And I think when it comes to worth, it is on us to educate other people what our worth is or what they are paying for. It is our responsibility, and it's what we need to control. You know what I mean by that? Because we cannot, it's not fair to leave it up to chance, right? If you are going to engage me, you need to understand this is why you're paying this much and why I am worth that much. So it's around how we construct that reality, how we create that reality, or how we educate people about that reality. So I'm going to sort of share this recent thing I heard, okay? And it's quite scary. but somebody that I know as an acquaintance, this person went around for years deceiving everybody that she's a doctor. She found a doctor in the hospital with the same name, printed a name card using the same address, the same mobile, everything. And every time she went networking, she would say she's this doctor. So it's very twisted. But my point here, like what John likes to say, but my point is, it's about, that reality that you create for people. And everybody bought into it. Like everybody bought into it. It's only now when everybody's shattered because, oh my God, I was actually under a deception. Right.
I really love what you say there. This is so important, yeah. And you don't have to be this doctor or pretend to be something to be amazing. You don't have to. Okay. Often people who were themselves all the time, they were the most successful one. And if you look into the story of a lot of the big successful guys out there in the world, they were themselves, yeah. They didn't come with a lot of money or pretended to be another person. They just followed their dreams and believed, and they knew their strengths. And I think they had a very high level of awareness of who they are, where their limits are. That's what I believe, yeah. But we all have situations where we know now it's too far, yeah. And then you take one step back. I think that's part of the process too. Let's not say we can do everything. There is a limit, but the limit is very far out.
Actually, as you guys were talking about how you have to educate the clients that you coach, right, or clients, the worth or how the value of coaching and the value that you bring to the table. I think, help me refine this thought a little bit, okay? I think the flip side is also true. If your issue or your problem is really important to work on or to resolve, right, you will also put more value to it.
Yes.
Right? And that's something I think whoever wants to work on themselves has to see that too. How much are you how much are you worth to work on?
Exactly. I had a client just a few hours before from a bank with 4 letters, and doesn't matter. But that person twice within the hour had amazing realization, and he was short before crying because he was never able to speak that out, and he was so thankful to have this space and the environment to speak that out. And this is what we do as coaches. Yeah. And this is now not related to the price here, but it's about what do we bring to the table, yeah. And I like what you say, Lin. People should know what they get. So it's kind of how can we illustrate that, yeah? And I know some of you were part of the business event this Saturday, and it was about how we describe ourselves as coaches out there and market ourselves, yeah? And I think it's very important that each of us here in this live session think about how do we want to project ourselves out there so people know what they get, not what we were taught in an expensive training to be. No, the version of who we really are. And then there's no disappointment, there's only upside. So the more true, and I come back to what he said with his 3 lines in LinkedIn, your first 3 lines, because that's what people see when they look us up in LinkedIn, they should exactly illustrate who we are, what we stand for, as close to the self-worth. He didn't use that word, but my point is who we are, what we stand for, and what people get. And I think then there's not this fake, I'm a doctor here or doctor there. People will find out, trust me, they will find out if we are fake. It's just a matter of time. And then we're in trouble, yeah? So my point is that is a very good, I think, way to get into a coaching session. And in the chemistry session, just to be very technical now, that people get a sense of who we are as people, yeah, and how we work, what we like, how we operate as coaches, because we all coach in very different ways. And I would bet with you, you can present one problem or one client with one problem, and you put him together or her together with 4 coaches, they would choose 4 different ways of doing it, because that's how we are, and that's okay. But they don't know. But if we can share with them who we are, what they're going to experience, I think it's very honest and very real. So I like that, Lin.
So I want to add on to you, John, as my final sort of contribution to this topic. I think on top of who we are and being authentic and bringing that, maybe one of the suggestions I have to the coaches is to look at your entire, the experience of Lin, the experience of Jada, the experience of John, from the moment people see you on social media to your chemistry sessions, to your materials, to the way you deliver your coaching, and look at how you can up the value of every single part. So for example, social media, if you go to my LinkedIn, you would see Forbes there. I think it's part of educating people. This is a bit beyond your coaching, but more of your brand and aligning yourself with, again, authentically, but to the things that add credibility. Because again, it's down to you creating and educating people about your worth. You cannot leave it up to chance. So that's an example of social media. But, even there was once when I wanted to increase my price, my executive coaching prices. That's what I did. I looked at my emails going out to the clients. I looked at the materials that I was creating. I looked at how I worked with the stakeholders, the sponsors, how I closed the reports that I was giving, and I upped everything. And just the effort, back to what we said earlier, you earn something. It's just the effort in there, which I went, no doubt about it, I'm going to raise my price because I'm increasing my value to my client. I'm making the experience better, more robust. No doubt about it. I should charge more.
That's a good, okay. So to whoever's watching right now, I think that's something that, whether it be a challenge or homework, something for you to walk away with. Go have a sit down and journal and have a reflection on what do you bring to the table? Who are you as a coach that you're bringing to the table? I think that's the first question, right? And then the second is look across all the different experiences that your clients, the people that you work with come into contact with you on. Where can you increase your value to? That's the second thing to work on. And I think with that itself is a good exercise to walk away with.
And if you're okay, I just want to add self-care and the space you create for yourself, taking care of yourself, and just do reflections and just check in. I do this every Friday. I have 1 hour in my diary. I do self-reflection. Everything I say, the question I ask myself, if I would restart this week, what would I do different to be the person I want to be and who I am? And I can tell you this 1 hour is the best week. I love all my clients, don't misunderstand me. But this week, just to be taking the time, kind of a step out of myself, look at myself as a person, say, how did I perform this week? This self-care is super powerful. So I just want to share that.
Nice. So nice. Okay. All right. So any last words, John? I know you ended on self-care. No?
Yeah. No, I just say take care of yourself and believe in yourself. And seriously, you can all move mountains. We can do together. And I think most important, surround yourself with people you really want to be surrounded by, who can help you grow. Exactly. Thank you, Lin. I see you. But the point is, surround yourself with people and get, I'm going to be very harsh here, but get rid of the people who are not serving you, who are pulling you down, and it's not going to make your life better. Yeah. And time will also not make it better. So just have people around you can pull to when needed. That's all I want to say.
And if you can't find the people, just come back every Tuesday 9 p.m.
Yes, exactly.
Each of our energies.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I was gonna add something on, but it's just gonna go on and on. Okay. All right. So thank you, John, for spending the Tuesday with us. I know you were spontaneous, you were lovely, you were so generous, and you just jumped on to spend this hour with us. Thank you so much.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
He looks like he's finishing a lecture. So what are we talking about next Tuesday, babe? Every time I ask you this question, you always draw blanks.
Like seriously thinking,
You're not
putting yourself out there. putting yourself out there. I think that is the number one top fear that a lot of coaches have these days. We are so good at training our skills. We are so good at what we do. But then the moment we have to put ourselves out there, whether it's on social media or to coaching a lot of people, we get scared. We stop. We freeze, right? So how do you get yourself out there? I think that's something that we need to examine. Yeah. So thank you everyone for watching Down the Rabbit Hole with us this Tuesday, episode 7 on self-worth. If you like this episode, help us give a like, share, or even comment on it. And we'd love to see you again next Tuesday, 9 p.m. same time. All right, go off and do your homework and share with us here. Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.